Welcome to another edition of Action 14. I'm Mike Briggs. We'll be bringing information from the city, from the school, and from the arts. We start out with the city. Welcome Mayor Pullman to the show.
Thank you, Mike. It's always a pleasure to be on TV 14 with our viewing audience.
It's was marvelous going through past Dino's because the cow is pretty much done. Beautiful.
It is definitely, can we say spruced up?
Yes.
Looking good.
Yeah.
For an older lady, she's looking very good. Yeah.
But we see more and more people taking their picture. When I go by almost every morning, afternoon, and have no idea how many times somebody's getting their picture taken with the cow.
And they don't even have to be local,
No.
because locals are doing it too. I'll admit to it. But it's always nice to see people you don't know because they're getting the word out for us.
Yeah.
It's a definite asset to, and I think it'll be done before Labor Day.
Well, it looks like it's 90% done now.
Yeah, they're kind of putting on some whiskers here and there, or whatever you call those things.
Yeah.
Fine tuning.
Yeah, it is special that the cow has been here that long, huh?
It has, unbelievably. And, you know, it's as much a part of Plymouth as anything else.
Right. And I think our viewing audience should understand that while it was not inexpensive to dress the cow up again, money was from a different source.
Right. And, you know, when we came up with the Redevelopment Authority, RDA, and this was about 7 years ago now, looking at what other communities have done with RDAs, and I asked myself, why doesn't Plymouth have an RDA? So started investigating it, looking at the flexibility, and that's really the key word, flexibility that the RDA has. And it moves things along faster. It allows different avenues of revenue that don't get counted as city revenue.
Right.
And if people contribute to the RDA out there, it's not going into the city coffers. And I think that there's a real interest to seeing what RDAs can do. The RDA, of course, was the leader in our arch project. The RDA, we used it very heavily when we did the cheese counter.
Sure.
And, you know, that investment, we bought it off the county tax rolls for back taxes, which is like paying ourselves back on that one, about $37,000, and half of that was us. We're looking at a $1.2 million building today.
Certainly.
And a heck of an asset, you know, for the city, tourism and everything else. So we leveraged that phenomenally well. What we did to create that through the RDA was something that we've been copied on repeatedly. We're very glad to say that what we created with the tax incentives and the spin-off has now been copied around the nation again and again. So we're looking at opportunities, and the RDA gives us that. So it's nice to have that tool in the toolbox.
Right. And getting back to the cow, growing up on a Holstein dairy farm.
Holstein is the important one there.
Yeah. Some of the spots might not quite be as much a Holstein as you might guess.
But you know, they do kind of move around.
Yeah.
Not every Holstein is exactly the same footprint.
Yeah. But at the same time, none of our milking cows would have horns either. So.
No.
So,
that's kind of a little ad, you know, that should be on a quiz someplace for people to distinguish, you know, is that really, you know?
Yeah. But I just have to say that I remember when it was painted one other time, and they really did what I think is a more complete job this time than we did the last time it was painted. So I have to compliment them.
Yeah, it was a complete job, not just a touch-up.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the best way to say that, yeah. And is it expensive? Of course it is, but you're looking at having something last now for a good many years.
Yep. Whenever people want to find some place that they're going down in that area, I always start with go past the cow.
Yep.
And then, and then turn the way I want you to
That's
turn.
kind of a landmark, and if you know where that is, now you can get to the next place.
That's right.
No, I
Yeah.
agree with you,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it is beautiful that it's being completed, and I'm glad it did not cost the city taxpayers any money
Correct,
to do it.
yeah. And thankfully, the RDA, which is headed by Lee Gentine and his group, they're very good at trying to get out there and do things that are community orientated.
Yes.
And that's important. So
Now, moving on to another item, I saw that the City Council passed a utility study contract with Kapoor and Associates. Maybe you could explain to our viewers why and possibly the impact of that contract.
well, that's a very good question, Mike. And the utility study, which was just passed at the last council meeting to go forward, and it's looking at our entire infrastructure system that we all cherish and love because it's locally owned, it's locally operated, and we control the whole thing. There are parts of the city that if we were to encourage development in one location over another, it might be scenically very good, but the problem is to get the sewer water to that site.
Certainly.
And we, for instance, can't support a subdivision that needs lift stations, isn't gravity fed, and has to have pumps in order to do all of the things that we try to do. So we need to incorporate that into a larger project, which brings me to the study. We'll look at a larger project base because when we close TIF 4 and 140 million will come on the tax roll, that's big time. That is huge.
Right.
We now fall under the state guideline that we're now at 18%. We can't do anything when we're over 12%. This will put us well under 12%. It lets us open up probably two new TIF districts, and those two new TIF districts will then use this study for planning purposes on sewer and water and street projects, which are paid for out of the TIF proceeds while it's in operation. So a TIF generally is 20 years in length, give or take a few years. And so this is a long-range plan at looking where the best improvements can be made to the city, and then how that fits in with our master plan, which 2 years ago we updated our master plan. So it gives us a direction for commercial, industrial, and residential. And now this is a continuation of trying to do a feasibility where if we have a problem area, we look beyond that problem area and try to have a go-to purpose so we don't have a gap in the system. And it's kind of like putting a puzzle together. When we were kids, you always put the border on first.
Yep.
Well, we've got the border on. Our electrical grid, our sewer grid, everything is now connected, and we're served from two different directions. So we have all the gaps covered. Now we're trying to build within that puzzle, if you'll have it, and this study will put priorities into where the dollars need to be spent to feed off of things. We don't want to put together a system that is going to be at capacity in 5 or 10 years.
Right.
We want to create a system that capacity is 10 or 20 years. And so we're putting in, for instance, larger pipes. Instead of 4-inch pipe, we're putting in 8-inch pipe. There's all sorts of engineering things that go into that, and it's over my pay grade. I don't understand all those things, but it's part of the process how we now lay the future out as an extension of that master plan and what the utilities are going to cost us. We're in a best financial position in probably 20, 30 years. Mm-hmm. Our debt service level is exceptionally low. A couple weeks ago at a council meeting, our financial advisor, Ehlers, said this is amazing. You've created a phenomenal network of opportunity here. And with TIF 4 closing, we're looking at opening TIF 7, TIF 8, and where do we want to do that? And what business park, what residential park do we want to look toward for the future of the city? And I think this will give us that template, if you will. There's always modifications to it, but it'll give us that direction on how we can grow and do it affordably, efficiently, and not have the taxpayers foot the bill.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to.
Are there some areas that you're looking at? Can I bring up a couple of them? Because
Sure.
I know if we go out 67,
Mm-hmm.
out of Plymouth, on the right side of the road.
On the north side of 67, there's 67 acres, which is in the city. That cornfield is in the city limits.
Listed agricultural at this time.
And it's agriculture because all land comes in the city when it's annexed as agriculture. Mm-hmm. And Plymouth Industrial Development Corporation owns that property. They help us secure land for expansion, and that already has a mixed residential property usage, and there's kind of a rough layout of single family, 2-family, 4-family, mm-hmm. some park area in there. It's not been mapped out by no means, but it's kind of like playing with that puzzle. And of course, if you drive on that 67, you come from a high spot down to a low spot. So of course, you still have to get water there. Water runs downhill. Trouble is, sewer and water has to run uphill too. So we need to have pump stations, and those are very expensive things to do. But we have to create a closed circuit so that all of this fits together. And then across the Highway 67 on the south side of 67, there's 120 acres that the Plymouth Industrial Development Corp has purchased, and we're looking at mixed use of that property. Again, if you drive that, you can see that that's lower than the city limits. So whatever has to be done there or will be built there eventually will need significant infrastructure costs. If we plan this correctly, if we stage it in a pattern of development, we as taxpayers, ratepayers in this case, because it's utilities, so it comes on your rate. We have electric utility, sewer and water utility. We can hold those rates to a reasonable number and at the same time build out for the future. So that's 180 acres that is just chomping at the bits, and the Plymouth Industrial Development Corp controls that property, so it controls the price. And I think when we control the price of land, that means we have affordable property that can be purchased.
It's just that we know that the city has property, and at the same time, we know that there's a shortage in housing. And so all of that can possibly be affected by what you're doing out there.
Absolutely, because we did under state law a few years back, I forget, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, the state law put an option in the law that you could extend a TIF, not do any work in it, but you could extend a TIF, and you had to allocate that extension, those revenues could only be used for one purpose, and that was housing. And we did it. We extended the TIF about $2.3 million, nice little pad to fund without taxpayers funding it, that we can use for the opportunity in a revolving loan fund operation to create low interest loans, to create opportunity for people to build and grow the city. That's something that, again, 3 years ago we looked at that. We said this is a good thing that, we're going to need it. We need housing terribly bad. Homes on the market don't last sometimes a day, sometimes a week. So we're really looking at that. But we will spin off nice dollars in that for the housing projects that we're going to be doing. And that'll help new people move into the community. And all of our employers, no matter what your business is looking for employees right now. This will help us in that regard.
Yeah, now, I know it's only fair time, but at the same time, you're looking at city budget for 2024, and I know one of the items got to be high on that budget is the dam.
It is, and I'm glad it is.
Well,
not because the DNR told us either.
But you did get $1 million.
We did get
from the state.
From the state in the state budget that the Assembly and the Senate and the governor passed. We were able to get $1 million specifically designated to the rebuilding and replacement of the Mill Pond Dam in Plymouth, Wisconsin. So it's designated for one purpose only. I think it's June or July of 25 where the Corps of Engineers set a deadline and said you have to have it done by then. Well, between you and me, it's not going to get done by then because engineers take longer than that to work. But we'll have the plan in motion. We've now got the state funding to support that. The DNR will work with us in doing that, and as long as we have the funding in place, which is part of the budget that you asked about, and the design to build, we're hoping actually to start that in '24. So a year from today, we could see a lot of construction on the dam site, and that probably will take a year done. It's sort of like the Marsh Dam. That's a whole summer-long project, and you got to draw it down. You got to prepare things for it. But yeah, that's another $3.5 million project. One of many projects that we're contemplating as a result of TIF 4 closing and the shared revenue increase, and like you said, the $1 million in the state budget. There's a lot of things in motion. We're trying to do the groundwork as best we can plan for. And certainly we hope there aren't any hiccups along the way, but we could have a combination utility city revenue bond issue that guessing could be $8-10 million. It would be the largest one in my tenure as mayor. But as Ehlers said, we're in the best financial position we've been in 20, 30 years.
Right.
So it's a tremendous opportunity for us to use the dollars coming in, the dollars available. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, one last item before we close out is the fact that using the idea of the dam being worked on, is there plans on the trail going down all the way to the utilities and updating that? How about parking also down behind the American Legion?
Once again, you have a lot of friends in good places to get information. And yes, in the budget we're working on right now, I do believe that we will have in there sufficient funding to do the trail through the city.
Good.
To get that all the way down to Meyer Park. And of course, the Legion property is the beginning of it, and Meyer Park is the end of it. And the parking lot between the Legion building and the railroad trestle will be part of that renovation. Okay. It'll look a lot cleaner, more, we're not losing any parking stalls, we're actually gaining a couple, just like the other side of Stafford Street. And, you know, that was a long time in planning too. So I think with the opportunity that this presents us, and, you know, that's probably a $2 million project to finish off that trail, which has kind of been at a standstill for a couple years, unfortunately. But, you know, you can only do so much with what you have, and we're finally putting ourselves in a position that we can complete that system, which probably goes back 8-9 years. So we're looking forward to it, and I think we're gonna have a lot of information meetings to let the public know what some of these long-range plans are, and some of them have been there and they're coming to fruition now.
Okay. Well, I certainly want to thank you for coming on and
You're
giving us that kind of information that's happening in the city. I should also mention that some of our roads are completed. Clifford Street is marvelous now.
Isn't it beautiful?
By the way. Clifford Street is marvelous right now. And I'm so glad that we're wrapping some of that up, and we still have a lot of things being dug and buried with
all of our utility lines, the fiber optic that's come in, which, you know, that's been a 2-year project too, and we're seeing the ends of it. The mailers are going out, and I think we're going to have a lot newer, better, faster service as a result of it. But this all takes time to get things coordinated, and it doesn't happen overnight.
Right. I should mention to everybody that the City Council meetings are the second and last Tuesday of every month down at City Hall, starting at
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. So be part of what's happening in the city, understand where everything is going, because we have some busy things happening right now. I want to thank you again.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure, Mike.
When we come back, I hope to have some people here from the Arts Center, and so we bring you more information here on Action 14. Welcome back to Action 14. As promised, we've got the we're now talking about the arts, and I've got Liz Higgins here to talk about several things happening. But before we get to that, let's talk first of all about the jazz crawl. I enjoyed it so much. I went down and had my meal at the Arts Center and went through all and put my name on a few items, and then continued on. It was I thought, a nice crowd.
Yes, and the weather held off, so
Yeah.
we're grateful for that. It was a great success. We had the silent auction going on, like you said. We had over 150 items that were donated, so that was just great. And it is one of our biggest fundraisers of the year, so it's really important to us for that aspect. The music was great. We had 2 bands, one inside, one outside, and
It was.
it was great.
It was
Food was great.
it was a fun evening.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm possibly a little disappointed. More people should have bought wristbands. I did not see enough wristbands
Right.
on the crowd that I was seeing.
And the main thing with the wristband was you could go on the trolley and then go, and you didn't have to walk the whole route of the event. So yeah.
But it was. I thought the music was fantastic. He picked some very nice bands were chosen to be part of it, and I didn't get to all of them because I can't stay up that late.
Yeah.
But but I did get to I believe 5 events, and I enjoyed every one of them.
Oh, great. During the Jazz Crawl, well, we had the soft opening for our next gallery show, which is called Harmony and Dissidence.
Right.
And that is the Coalition of Photographic Arts. So it's all photography. And our opening for that will be August 18th with a reception from 5 to 7. And there's a lot of great photography there, and just come and join us.
And it's going to be up for a bit. It'll be up into October. Am I correct?
Yes. So a couple of months. Yeah, we'll have it up for that long. And the music is by a group I haven't heard of, which is Gypsy Swing Chicks.
Oh, goodness.
So that'll be the music for that. We'll have refreshments as well.
Certainly. And we have so many neat things happening. I know that you have a children's event during Fallujah. Now, I went to Fallujah last year. We had some weather issues, but I enjoyed it. It's happening for the second time, September 16th.
Correct. And it's through the Plymouth Advancement Association. And they put on a great festival with music and food as well. And then at the Plymouth Arts Center, we will having an adult and youth art projects. So it'll be, what we're thinking is, if you've ever done ink tiles, it's taking a tile that you would put normally in your bathroom or kitchen, and you ink it up with ink and put alcohol drops on it, and it creates this great, beautiful collage that we're going to put together at the end.
Super.
Yeah.
But you have many other items going on. I know you have a couple you want to bring out.
Oh, yes. So then strictly education, we are going to be having our life drawing, which is now just started. The facilitators are Lori Behringer and Mark Returno, and they are having that where they're having 2 times a month on Wednesdays. It's usually the 2nd, 3rd. You can check our website for the exact dates. The next one coming up, though, is September 13th, and then also the 27th. And we have models for you to come in and draw and paint.
You can sign up online.
Yes.
PlymouthArts.org.
Correct.
And you'll find a spot where you can sign up and actually pay online also. So it's PlymouthArts.org.
And then there's a tab for classes, so make sure you go to that spot.
Right. And now you have a couple other things going on. I know you've got some preschool art going on.
Yep. I will be teaching that, and starting in September, also the 14th, 21st, and 28th from 10 to 10:45, ages 3 to 5, and that's with an adult present. I did have that for a few months in spring, and it went really well, so I'm going to carry it over to September, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Ages 3 to 5, have to have an adult there with them.
Yes.
And it's a fun thing for the kids. It really is. And now you also have a couple other items I know that you want to talk about.
Yes, on September 8th, is called Memories in the Making, and I've become a certified facilitator for the Alzheimer's Association. And I'm going to read it off of here, if that's okay,
Please.
because it is a program that was set up by the Alzheimer's Association, introduced in 1988, that allows individuals of Alzheimer's diseases and related dementias to express themselves through art and communicate or share the essence of who they are. So it's not all about the art and what they're doing with, creating masterpiece. It's more about making connections and sharing memories
Right.
and communicating. So that's what it's all about. And that'll be on, like I said, September 8th at the Art Center. We also have dates set up through Generations and Uptown Social. So look at our website has the event dates, and if you go to their websites as well, they have the
Right,
dates.
right. I think it's very important to understand that how important it is to assist and work with people that are having even early stages
Yeah.
of
Yes,
Alzheimer's, yes.
yes.
Yeah. But now let's talk about, I see you have a wreath workshop
Yes.
coming?
Autumn Wreath Workshop by Alexis Hardin. She's an educator through the Sheboygan Area School District, and she's done a lot of our wreath workshops, so it's a lot of fun. And you start out with a grapevine wreath, and you add ornaments to it, embellishments, and the fun thing is everyone's turns out different at the end. It's really fun to see.
Yeah, and the nice part is that it's all, you don't have to bring anything,
Yeah.
just yourself.
Correct.
And then have some fun.
Yes,
That's the
yeah.
thing, and that is September 9th.
Correct. And our next one is, lots going on in September, Woven Indian Corn Workshop, and that is done by, a lot of you will know the name, Kathy Palmer, who worked for the Plymouth District, kindergarten teacher.
Yep.
And you create a beautiful centerpiece made out of basket weaving. So she's excellent basket weaver, and that is ages 12 through adult.
And now, I should talk about, before we leave this also, though, we do have some things going on a little further out, because Paint the Towns in Fall Color has been an annual event for several years now.
Correct.
And I know Dan Rizai is, he's been the backbone of it for a long
Yep,
time.
he sets the whole thing up.
It's coming up again.
Yes.
I should mention that you can register actually now, and if you register by early October, you can save $5. The Paint the Community is October 12th to the 19th, and then there'll be a party afterwards on October 20th.
Yes.
And the neat thing is, if you go to the show, you'll be able to see, what's neat about it, you recognize everything, because
definitely.
it's paintings from around the Plymouth area.
And it's brings back history, just like our all our murals in Plymouth. This is done individually, so if you'd like to take a piece of art home with the
Yes.
history of Plymouth, it's a great thing to come and see.
That's what's neat about going to that, is that you see and recognize areas around Plymouth that you have seen, and now here they are painted on canvas, and you might actually want to take one of those home, because it's part of your memory also.
Correct. I remember one last year of an alleyway, and that looks really familiar. And then I put two and two together, and it's like, I used to walk through there as a kid.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then not the only one, though. People are going to see things, and it'll bring back memories that are special.
Yes.
Always good. But we always have many things going on at the Arts Center, and so many things we've just listed. The best thing I believe people should do is come down to the Arts Center. And first of all, you'll be so impressed with the show you have going on now,
yes,
but also impressed with how far we've come in 30 years. To have a town the size of Plymouth with an arts center, that is marvelous. It has been special for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, yep. And I've been in this position for a year, and it's been going great. And I appreciate all the people in Plymouth. And yep, come to the Arts Center. And like you just mentioned, we're celebrating our 30 years, so we still have a lot of fun things all the way through the rest of the year.
And so you come down to the Arts Center, you look at again, many of the items we brought up and fill out the forms at the Art Center instead of doing it online. That's my idea because you want to see the art that's down there. At the same time, they have a gift shop that changes periodically, and local art as well as other items can be purchased at the gift shop. The gift shop is so much different than what you would expect.
Yes.
It's marvelous. And it's been fun for a year, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
And I hope you have signed up with Donna for another one.
Yeah, I'll be there for a while.
Good, good. Well, I certainly want to thank you for being on.
Okay, thank you.
And we hope that people attend and look at all the different items, from everything from making a wreath to bringing their children down there to do some activities. It's been a fantastic time
Yeah,
at the
thank
Art
you.
Center.
Yep, just visit our website. We have all the information there for you.
That's Plymouth Arts, plural, PlymouthArts.org. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you.
And when we come back, I believe I'm going to have the high school principal sitting on the hot seat here, and we'll have some tough questions for him. So stay right with us. You're watching Action 14. Excellent,
Okay.
excellent.
4, 3.
Welcome back to Action 14. I have with me now the principal of Plymouth High School, Joe Brandel. Welcome to the show.
Love it. Thanks for having me.
We're just about ready to kick things off. You know, I talk about the fair coming up. I did with the mayor and everything, but right after that, the kids are here. But we actually, even though the classes begin the Tuesday after the fair, there are so many things that happen in these next couple weeks
Yep.
to prepare for that.
Yeah, you know, it starts right away when students get let out. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about our soccer state championship.
Oh, that's right.
Our community was awesome following the girls
Wasn't
and
it?
going. It was just something that brought our town together, and I hope this fall we can kind of continue that excitement and go from there. And over the summer, a lot of work happens. Our staff works on curriculum, getting prepared for the next year. Our custodial and maintenance crew work as hard as possible to get everything set up. One, to clean up kind of after what happened at the end of last year, make sure this year is ready to go. Our tech crew, as you know, always updating our technology and getting us with the most up-to-date version. And then outside, we've had a lot of work done, and it started with the football field getting redone, which then that led to the track. And just recently, the track was finished, lines were put on, so there's all kinds of things happening as far as that goes. And teacher in service, then right before the fair week is when we put the final touches on it for the kids to come.
Yeah, and in fact, let's add one item. We have an arch that you're going to kind of walk under as you enter the football area.
Yep.
That's part of a couple different classes worked on that.
Yes, our tech department really took the lead with their students, and it's going to look beautiful. It lights up, and
Yep.
it's something to be proud of here at Plymouth,
is.
that's for sure.
It is, and the track is beautiful. It took a while, obviously took longer than we wanted it to
Yeah.
get completed, but now it is completed and everything looks beautiful out there.
Yeah, for those that are going to use the track, they're going to notice the difference in how it feels. It looks nice, but it's going to feel nice for our athletes
Yep,
in our
yep.
community that walk the path and those kinds of things.
I know we still have a shortage of a difficult time finding people to hire. We still have some openings for aides, I know,
Yep.
that could assist in the area. And so it's worth finding out what's available. We have some part-time items that you may be interested in.
Yeah, currently we have 3 aide positions at the high school, and there's many more without the school district. Trying to get those that are a perfect fit for us right now. We're going through interviews this week, and we're hoping to solidify our staff, teaching staff. We have a full set at the high school, which makes me very excited for
Yeah.
what we're going to present for our students coming
We have a
up.
lot of new teachers, and so new teachers actually start showing up on the 21st.
Yes, that's
And so
correct.
Monday the 21st, they get a full week of understanding what it's like to be in Plymouth.
Yes, we get to really meet with them and talk about things and get to know them better, because it's about relationships for us as administrators. You know, how are they going to fit? What are their strengths? What can we help them grow in? And then they get to work with mentors around the district, and that's really good for them.
Yeah, some of our experienced staff members have, I'm going to use the word volunteer, to assist in helping a new teacher understand what happens here in the Plymouth School District.
Yep, and so that'll be very valuable to them. Then they will link up with those in their department, which will have that little bit more of an emphasis on things curriculum-wise and that, but to get that initial message as a whole. Then you have other people to lean on as first-year teachers in the district. Mr. Novak and myself, my assistant, are extremely excited. This is a small batch of new teachers this year for us, which is great, because if you can minimize turnover, you're doing well, and so we're excited about who we've added this year.
Everybody comes in, all of the staff comes in on the 28th, Monday the 28th, and go 4 days before the fair to prepare everything from understanding our special ed work and our activities. It's a tough time.
Yeah, it's, we start off with the start of sports, which happened with football at the end of July, and then we start up with girls swimming and then tennis, and then just this Monday we start up with a few other sports with cross country and volleyball and swimming. We get them all together, and now we pretty much have a full campus of athletes, and boys soccer started in the rain yesterday, so we have a lot of kids back. We're excited about what's coming in the weeks ahead.
I think one of the things that we've proven over the years that the number of students that are in extracurricular activities, their grades are better, their attendance is better, and we want as many students as possible in all of our extracurricular, everything from our band and chorus to the sports.
Yep, to the clubs, anything that we offer. We have a new student orientation coming up, which used to be called freshman orientation. That is the Wednesday of in-service, which is August 30th. And there we will really touch on, as an administrative team, Mr. Nelk and myself, get involved. Whatever that is, get involved. We have so many clubs, we have so many opportunities. There's really not an excuse for somebody to say, there's nothing that you guys offer that we can do. And then they'll have an opportunity to see their teachers, meet their teachers, see the counselors, take care of school fees, and really get to know the school on a more or less freshman. We do allow all new students, and then we end the night with Mr. Knaus coming in and giving the same message. Get involved. Here's how you find our athletic events. Here's how you find our clubs, and it's a really fun night to jumpstart the school year for new students.
And we'll have our staff there too.
Yep.
I think everybody should understand that our staff will also be there, and so the new students, all freshmen and new students, will be able to not only understand possibly where their classes are, but many times who is the staff member in their class.
Yep, and we have our Team Panther students, which will be around, and they'll have T-shirts. You'll see Team Panther, and they help. There's some of our older students that want to be leaders within the building, and they'll help you find classes in your locker and different things. So it really is a neat night. I encourage everybody to come attend that fits the new student mold.
Yeah, by the time people see this, we'll have at least one, if not two, football games. And I mean, when you think about football starting the 1st of August, and here we are, we're rolling.
Yep.
And they'll be playing a couple Sheboygan schools right away, and then we take off with our conference.
Yeah, I know the football coaches and the student athletes have put in a lot of time this summer. See them working in the fitness center, which we're so blessed to have something that amazing. When the rain, they're downstairs in that multi-purpose facility, and it really just gets them to touch base on what's important. And I was a football player back in high school, and when it rained, we had a lot of fun. We weren't paying attention to coaches, so it's just one of those nice things, and I'm hopeful this Friday our student section is loud and proud like we've been since I've been here, and we really start the year strong.
Yeah, I see they've got the couches out there and everything to prepare for this.
Yep, they come, the Pinky Friars, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's going to be a great year, and because it's one of the, in this building, the least amount of new staff members, possibly since you've come here.
Yep, certainly in the last 4 years, and 2 of our new staff members are within the district, so
Yep.
they're not really new, which we are excited about.
Yep, and we believe we have things very close in the tech world. When you think about the idea of getting nearly 3,000 devices ready for students, staff, and et cetera, it's a rush, but I think we're getting there.
Yep, and you guys do a great job of communicating that out, and when people come in, if something doesn't work, we're always more than helpful to say, hey, try this or do that, and I'm thankful, and I know everybody else is, that does those interactions with you and your crew.
Okay. Well, I want to certainly thank you for being on. We're all expecting to have a lot of fun in another school year, and you're starting your
4th year.
4th year here.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So the first graduating class all the way through, it's exciting. They've gone through a lot, and looking forward to a great 23-24 school year.
Great. I want to wish you the best of luck this
Love
year,
it.
too.
Thank you. As always, go Panthers.
Go Panthers, that's right. And I'll say the same thing. Go Panthers until I see you next time. We'll see you on the radio. Bye-bye.